underway.
Welcome. This is by far my favorite MMA fight. This is amazing. Now, for those of you who don't know what MMA is an acronym for Mixed Martial Arts. So what that means is people train multiple martial arts like jiu-jitsu, Muay Thai kickboxing, boxing, wrestling, and in the MMA cage, you can use any type of martial art against the other person. You know, the rules are, there are no rules, no, like, you know, no eye gouging, like nothing too disrespectful, but you can use any type of martial art. Now, if you don't know this, for the past 6 months, I had been training boxing because I had a pro boxing fight debut. Like, do you see that? Do you see the improvements? Look at that head movement. Now, the day of that boxing fight, my pro debut, she didn't show up. So imagine getting ready for 6 months, like you're going on a date, and them just like kind of standing you up. So when I got this MMA fight, like immediately after that happened, I'm like, I need to get a fight. I need to get a fight ASAP. And when I went into this fight, all I wanted to do was bang. I wanted to stand up and bang, because when you develop a skill, it's like having this shiny new tool that you want to use. And I had this shiny new boxing tool that I was like, I want to take this puppy out on the road and see what happens. Let's go battle test it. So I am battle testing for 6 months, I did 3 days a week of sparring against pro boxers. So those were like heavy hitting rounds, right? And judging by her Muay Thai shorts, my opponent, Hayes, she's very good at kickboxing. So her style is kickboxing. I've been training kickboxing. I was going at least 1 day a week since 2018. And then when I got into boxing, look at this head kick. Do you see that head kick? Now, after this round, we're gonna get into some more technical details at the end for those of you who are really into the techniques. But I want, bro. So right now this is called a clinch. And in Muay Thai, the clinch is a technique. So I'm going up against a Muay Thai person and trying to get control of their head, that is a technique in Muay Thai. So a Muay Thai player is going to know how to counter head control. And this is done through, do you see how she's overlapping my arm and posting on my head? And she does that to create space for knees and her head kick, which is, you can't deny the technique. Like, the reason why I love this fight so much is because of the technical skill that we both brought to the table. Like, this takes years, has taken us years to develop. So it's like being a martial artist is creating your tool set. It's like you have these canvases that you've created that you're trying to integrate into one masterpiece of mixed martial arts, and you're taking that canvas and you are mixing it with another person's canvas to create this like piece of art that's just like, this is so beautiful, really. This is a combination of hundreds of hours of training that like, it's just beautiful.
Big kick hurt her right there,
wow,
right at the bell.
Bad.
That was intense.
Do we have a cut?
Now, after that head kick, I remember a moment checking in with myself during the fight and asking myself, Crystal, do you still want to be here? And my answer was yes. Like, and that made me so happy, because during my last fight, when she broke her ulnar radius over my head, and we continued to fight. I remember thinking, like, remind me never to be in here again. After doing all of the sparring with the boxers, like, I had developed a toughness that this made me excited. Like, I still wanted to be in here. So, all right, so let's go over some things that I did well. I was really proud of this teep, this rear teep. Let's replay it a couple more times, just so my ego can feel like a little better. All right, now here are some things that she did well. Look at this. When I go in for the inside leg kick, look at her cross. Like, this is beautiful. This is typically an inside leg kick is safe. But no, like this striking counter is beautiful, and she used it multiple times throughout the fight to punch during that inside leg kick. And this is great. Look, I was like, girl, how about an overhand right? Like, because in my game, the inside leg kick was something that really wasn't answered. Like, not many people had an answer for it, and she had an answer, and it was good. It was, every technique has an answer. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that was good. Next, look at this shot to a double leg, and she did a really good sprawl, and you see how I put my leg over right away to attack the arm. So here I have an Americana. It's kind of like a mirror lock Americana. And because I was so used to people engaging in jiu-jitsu, it's a different reaction when somebody's goal is to stand up, because her game was standing up. Like, her corners were yelling, stand up, stand up. In jiu-jitsu, typically you're fighting somebody who wants to fight you, so they're usually driving into you, they're engaging. It's a different look when somebody is disengaging. And judging from my jiu-jitsu channel, like, something tells me that more people, like, the next time I fight, they're gonna wanna disengage. So, you know, just a heads up. if you're the coach of my next opponent, just, you know, I'm giving you the playbook. Right, let's go to the next technique. All right, now this next technique is an extremely powerful technique. You can get a knockout with this, and it's extremely good for self-defense. So this right here is called an up kick, and it was fast, so we're gonna replay this. All right, so we're on the ground. I'm going to attack her, and she just stands up. She goes to hammer fist my head, and do you see how I put my foot on her hip and go in for that up kick? This is extremely good in self-defense. Kick them in the mouth, okay? This is from any position. If anybody is trying to loom over you or is on top of you, whether standing, if they're on their knees, kick them right in the mouth. Now, I need to play for you something that when I first heard this, I was like, excuse me? Wait. All right, I'm gonna play it right now.
I'd like to see Hayes let her up right here. I'd like to see Hayes let her up right here.
If anybody knows that announcer's name for Combat Zone, please leave it in the comments so I can introduce myself and shake his hand. Because I was hoping for the same thing, because if somebody is engaging and trying to punch your face, they are allowing their face to be set up to get kicked in the face. And her corner was yelling, like, basically disengage. Here is another thing that Sophia did very well. I was trying to get inside position of her head, and she has an extremely good counter to a Muay Thai clinch, because she's a Muay Thai player. So it's like this overhand frame with a very long guard. And this is a perfect setup. She loves to do this off the cage. She has a great head kick on either side. This fight, it's like you could see the tremendous growth, which is beautiful. Like, we're all in this to grow, and I love seeing people grow, you know, even if they are kicking me in the head. All right, let's. So I felt proud of myself because before this fight, I wanted this fight to help me grow as a person, and I wanted my sense of validation and worth to be intrinsic, to be based off of who I became from training, as opposed to being dependent upon the results of something external. Here, she told me that she's never been punched harder ever in her life, and I was like, that was a compliment. Like, girl, you win me over with flattery. You know exactly what to say. But yeah, so I try to take things and I use fighting to help me grow as a person. And one thing that I was focused on for my personal growth during this training camp was to have my value be intrinsic and my self-worth be a focus of who I became during the training. So, you know, sparring 3 days a week, boxing, doing jiu-jitsu at least 2 to 3 times a week, 2 to 4 times a week, doing double sessions. Like every day I was doing double sessions with either cardio, lifting, boxing. I was doing some Muay Thai and jiu-jitsu. So it was pretty much, you know, I was putting in a lot of work, waking up at 5 a.m. Like it was, and it's not like I wasn't doing the work for the fight, because I noticed when I did that in the past, then the results of the fight really affected me emotionally. I wanted the focus to be what I did during training helped me develop as a person, and who I became from going through these camps is the prize. It's you know, who you are is the prize, really. So that made me feel like after the fight, I was just so proud that during the whole thing I was in it. Like I wanted to be there, and I felt excited and alive, and I really enjoyed it, and that just made me so happy. And I'm thankful for my opponent, because there have been multiple times where, you know, my opponent would either like back out, or when nobody wants to fight you, it kind of, you know, it sucks, because you want the experience of fighting. And after this, I looked up some ways to like process, you know, loss, and I came across Carl Jung, and he was talking about the shadow, which is basically means our consciousness and subconsciousness, and as a collective consciousness, those things that, you know, maybe we feel ashamed of or we try to hide. For example, like in my corner, the red corner, all the fighters are in one room until they get called out to fight, and then after the fight, they go back to this room. And for some reason, everybody, the 5 fights before me, the red corner, like the decisions were not going to the red corner. So, you know, you see these people coming in after having taken a loss, and you would see, you know, guys just immediately apologizing, like, oh my God, I'm so sorry, I let you down. Like they would just felt so bad, like after the loss. And it's like, it seems like collectively we view loss as almost shameful. Like we don't want to talk about it because it typically hurts people because of how we think of it. And Carl Jung said that the shadow are these things that we don't want to talk about or that we feel shameful of, but his perspective was that the entire experience should be honored. So whether that's a win, whether that's a loss. So, you know, I created this video to honor my loss. And the reason why I'm getting emotional is because it's not because of this. It's like, I thought it was like, I have lost, like I have this in the bag. Like I was feeling so good. But I found out this week that my cousin, who I was his sister, basically like who was my sister, she unexpectedly passed. So life is like, oh, you think you're good with loss? Here's some death. So now I'm just, you know, I'm processing it, which you are witnessing. And yeah, it's just a matter of deciding how I want to think about things. And there's always a delicate balance between, I'm good at being strong, but sometimes when you're really good at being strong, it's just like how I fight. Like next fight, it's like just because I can take punches and stay in the pocket doesn't mean I should. You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes it's okay to feel everything. That way I can process it. So yeah. If I don't have a video next week, I've just been trying to take a little bit more time to make sure I do things like I enjoy doing this, and I want to do it out of enjoyment and not force myself, you know, because I might want to do a little more processing. So yeah, so thank you so much for watching. I love you, and I would like to celebrate life and death and honor all of our experiences. All right, until next time, bye.